What's up, world? Welcome to another wacky, waving, inflatable, arm flaying beef sticks! Wow! The fuck's up?
Hey, we're here. We're living the pro wrestling lifestyle. We're living our gimmicks. We're shooting. We're working. We're doing it all.
For you. It's wonderful. Man, life is fucking... I told you, life is going to be going at 1,000,000 miles a minute. And it really is. It doesn't stop. You're lucky I get to sit down for 2 hours to do beef sticks, everybody.
Everybody's lucky.
It's like Vegas. Or not. Whatever.
SmackDown live in Sin City!
Ow, 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 ow! It's going to be a shitty
Boy, they're
theme
really
show.
hyping that, aren't they?
Yeah, it's going to be a shitty theme show that gets more stage props than their best pay-per-views.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that. More graphics, more props, more specific like ring entrances and LED work. They're putting a lot into this for some reason.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Fandango and Tyler Breeze are going to get put in a tag team match against somebody, and it's going to be a Las Vegas gimmick match with all kinds of Las Vegas themed items for them to smash over their opponents. And that's what I'm calling.
I hope it is. I hope it is, because you can never have enough for Breeze. You know what? I'm sitting there. I'm looking at this video here. Something's missing.
Uh-oh. I wonder what it could be. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna come back naked? You'll just have to wait and find out. And you can only tell on the Beef Sticks podcast on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. I suppose now is as good a time as any to give a shout out to our sponsor, Monster Wear Clothing. If you need decals or t-shirts done in a great rate with excellent quality, hit up my boy Corey Matthews, Monster Wear Clothing. He'll hook you up. They got everything you need, sourced locally. You don't have to worry about expensive shipping and handling from overseas. What's up, Fat Mack? Oh, there you go. You had your eyes on. You can't wear your eyes. Not for these people.
Not for these people. Plus, I opened a few more buttons because I heard you talking about me getting naked. I just thought, hey.
Let it fly. Let it fly.
Oh, no. Not
okay.
So much.
It's
you gotta pay. You gotta pay.
Nipple didn't quite break screen.
Nope. Good. We're good on this.
I definitely want to take a moment to thank you guys for watching us on YouTube. Every week we get views, and it feels really good that you're willing to sit and watch us. And it feels even better that you're still willing to sit and listen.
We appreciate it. We know it's 2 hours out of your day, and everybody's super busy. If y'all's life is anything like Paystee Whyt's and Fat Mack's, y'all are busy as shit. So we definitely appreciate y'all taking a couple hours out of your day. And we hope that, as with us, this gives you a chance to just unwind and relax and let loose and maybe get a little of that shit off your chest that you've been wanting to. Maybe we'll say the shit that you just won't say because you're a little more polite and a little more better human being than us. Because I'll admit it, we're the scum of the earth, and we're going to fucking just let you know it.
You know, I went camping last weekend, and I invited a few friends, and the couple of friends that were out there came, and they were talking to me, and they said, we finally got around to listening to Beef Sticks podcast, or at least part of it. Had to shut it off when that guy was talking about more crabs than the girls on the res. I'm like, he's a native. Chill out, man. Freedom of speech.
You know what?
I might be left-sided, but I'm not Antifa.
If I can piss off fucking 100 people out there and make one person laugh, I did my job. And I ain't talking about making the one person laugh. I'm talking about just pissing off the 100 people out there. Right. I'm glad I could do that for you.
And for those of you that are having a hard time handling the Fat Mack, get over it. Picture him like you do your favorite stand-up comedian. Say maybe even Louis C.K. I think that's fair, and I think that might give you some grounds there. I think so. Yeah. It's all in comedy. Everything is to get somebody to laugh somewhere. We don't mean offense. We don't mean to cause hate. That's not the point of B-Sticks Podcast.
No. The bottom line is I literally love everybody. The first time I ever meet you, I'll give you a fucking hug. I love everyone. I got nothing against anyone except for the people that give me something to be against them, which would be personal. And there's very few people. I don't think I've ever shot on anybody on this show. I don't think I've let out a shoot on this show at all. I don't think there's a person that I've badmouthed on this show. And that's because I do. I love, and I want this show to be about love, and I want this show to be about enjoyment, and I want this show to be about happiness. Be happy. I'm going to tell jokes, and some of my jokes are going to offend people, and I apologize. But they're just that. They're jokes, and they're jokes meant to make you smile. So just smile, man.
And you can always rest assured on the Beef Sticks promise. We will offend everybody equally.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Another plug to our newest sponsor. Our newest sponsor. The 7th almost annual Holoblaze. Live December 16th at the Opinion Brewery in Newport, Minnesota. Dude, the shit is going to be live. I think we've got time for 14 acts. Almost 9 hours of music. I think we're going to have, oh God, the best bands in Minnesota, the best hip-hop, pure hip-hop. It's going to be the shit. And beyond just the music, there is going to be a plethora of side attractions and things for you to do and partake in that are just going to accent the entire evening. It's going to be a night to remember. So if you're free, and, you know, if you put it on your calendar now, you should be, Saturday, December 16th, 2017, the 7th almost annual Holoblaze. Brought to you by Cloud Style Broadcasting and Seahorse Productions.
This is going to be a big-ass shindig, folks, and you want to be there. It's going to be a blast. I've been to Holoblaze before. I'm going to continue to go every time I can. Some great acts on the card so far.
You've been to Holoblaze in the country. You haven't been to Holoblaze where it should be. You ain't been to a Holoblaze yet.
But it'll be there's some great acts signed up already. It's only going to get better.
It's mind melting. I've got people I never would have imagined possible coming out of the woodworks. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Suppose I can let it drop here. It's the same 4 that I shared all over the Book of Faces. First 4 acts on the roster is, you know, me and Strategy, yours truly, the Northern Lights. And then there's our boy Trip City. Gotta always bring Trip along for the ride. A lot of love for that man. Fat C and Professor Fresh. And I'm calling us the Repeat Offenders Club. You know, Professor Fresh has played every single Holoblaze, and I think Fat C's played all but 1 or 2. So that's pretty exciting. And I think we're gonna have a really, really good show. Really good show.
It's a really, really good show, folks. You're not gonna want to miss it. It's a really good show.
Ha! Woo! I remembered why I don't drink screwdrivers anymore. The old heart can't take it. It's burning.
That being said, folks, don't forget to visit our Patreon page either. If you like what you see here, YouTube strictly demonetizes anything that's wrestling related. So any and every little bit of help you're willing to shed our way was much appreciated. That is patreon.com/cloudstyle.
Except it's a backslash.
It should be a /.
Nope.
So everything's double check that.
Everything's backslash, homie.
No, it's a / if it's on the internet. Look it up.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope. You're wrong. You look it up so you can show yourself.
Look it up.
No, you look. I don't think you're gonna believe me when I prove
I'm
you
looking
wrong.
at it right now. HTTP
/ //
/ If the top is leaning forward, it's a / Paystee.
No, if the bottom is leading backward, it's a /. Hang on.
Folks, go to Patreon and find Cloud Style.
Find us on Facebook and heat this debate up. Is it a / or a /? Only Beef Sticks Podcast can bring you this kind of... A / is a /. I'm wrong.
I know you are. It's a / It's been a / since the beginning of the internet.
Everybody calls it a /.
Who?
Everybody.
Actually, a lot of people call it / for some reason, but it has always been a /.
God damn.
So, for you folks out there, whether you call it a / or a /, put that / mark in. Because you know which / mark we're talking about. You only use one for the internet.
Right. You only use one for anything. What do you use the other fucking / for?
To make those like this symbol and stuff, you use them for that. But that's about it. Not a lot else. Just for emojis. That's all it's used for is emojis. Folks, I won one! Finally! I'm usually wrong. I got one right. I feel happy. I'm proud.
I'm proud of you. I'm really disappointed in myself, and I think now I have to sit back and question reality a little bit.
Dude!
What, dude?
I'm telling you.
What? What are you trying to tell me, boy?
I'm trying to tell you what it's called when your whole life you thought it was one thing and then it's another. It's the Mandela effect all over again.
No, it's not.
Mandela effect.
It's called the Nelson theory. Look it up.
What?
It's called the Nelson theory. It's always been called the Nelson theory. Look it up.
It's the Nelson theory. The fact that forever it was always a / and then all of a sudden you entered a time where for some reason we don't know why, but for some reason it is now the Mandela or the / the Mandela effect.
You know what I think it is? Before we connected tonight, you said I had to give you a 15-minute warning, and I responded with, go back in time and give yourself a warning. And I think you went further back in time and changed that shit just to fuck me over. And I said, you gotta help me fuck you. That's what I said.
Hey, you know what? The truth of the matter is, and folks, if you want to learn more about this, go check out my latest edition of Fantastic Fables up on Spreaker.com. But if you want to know, the truth is that time doesn't exist. Time doesn't exist at all. So
tell that to my work.
They can measure your productivity. They can't measure time. It's a good episode. One of my favorites.
I might not have cracked the episode yet, but you're telling me a clock does not measure time.
No, and I explain. I'll give you an example that I use on my show. Have you ever sat with somebody and watched them? Actually, no. Let's go with work. You said work. Have you ever spent 4 hours at work and thought it felt like 6 hours, and then went on a 15-minute break and it felt like 5 minutes?
Yes, all the time.
That can't happen. If time is measurable, that can't happen. 4 hours cannot feel like 6 hours. It's impossible if it's measurable. That's just like saying that 2 feet is longer than 2 feet. It can't be. It's always going to be 2 feet.
Okay.
Time,
I get where you're coming from.
Time is not measurable.
I got you.
See?
Little sneak peek before you guys go check out that Fantastic Fables.
Check it out. It's good. And that's another plug for another Fantastic Fables, but on the same subject, which rewires your thinking, motherfuckers.
There you go.
God.
Get changed.
But it also requires a audio clip. And that audio clip would be for our beer drinking. Because I think it's about time for us to discuss our alcohol drinking, I should say.
Hey, I like that. That's fair.
I think it's time for us to discuss our alcohol drinking.
Right
so, Paystee, what do you think?
about now.
Refrigerator, why do I love you so?
Why do I love you?
Because you hold my food and my beer, so you're my heart and soul.
Get in my belly, baby.
Refrigerator. Heart and soul.
Yeah.
There you go, folks.
If it wasn't for the refrigerator, the screwdriver I'm drinking right now would not be deliciously cold. And I would be very sad. Not as sad as I think you would be if your beverage wasn't cold.
That's probably true. So, I'm actually drinking two beverages tonight. One. One of them is a leftover from a recording of Fantastic Fables that I did with a reoccurring guest host. The first reoccurring guest host, Paystee, you lost out on that gig.
Yeah.
B was now my second time on the show, and we did the Mario Brothers movie, a horrible movie that some of you might remember from your childhood. I love it. But
it's terrible, but it's great.
It's, you know what? That's what I thought. I was like, oh, it's one of those that's so horrible, it's fun to watch. But I haven't watched it in a long time, and it wasn't even enjoyable. I had a hard time getting through it. But since my sister, who is B, cat's out of the bag, was here, and she is a crazy aunt to my son Mitchell, I got myself Crazy Aunt Gin and Tonic Style Ale.
That's weird.
That might sound, yeah, right? That sounds odd, and it tastes just as odd. It doesn't taste like any type of ale, beer, or any kind of beverage like that. It kind of tastes like gin and Sprite bottled, or canned, I should say. I'm going to go out and say I wouldn't buy it again, but it's okay. It's okay, and I could see maybe on a hot summer day having like one or two of these out on the deck, but definitely not something I'd sit and drink a lot of. But that's just one can, and one can can't get me through Beef Sticks podcast. So I went out and got a sampler pack that I'm going to be sampling throughout the next few weeks with y'all.
Yeah.
And this one is the Schwartz beer. Shell's Schwartz beer. Bottled at
Schwartz is as big as mine.
Brewery. Damn right. New Ulm, Minnesota. This is part of their fall sampler pack. Come on, everything Shells is good. If you haven't had a Shell,
I fucking love Shells.
Crack one open.
And it really don't get that much more local than that to you, anyways.
Yeah, between that and Brow Brothers, those are probably the two closest breweries. This one is a nice dark beer. Almost smoky, not quite, but it's dark, a little heavy. Doesn't have that bite at all. Definitely an anti-IPA, but not hard and not harsh. It's a mellow, dark beer, if that makes any sense. Almost like I don't want you to think of chocolate flavor, but almost like how a dark chocolate is a mellow, harsh chocolate. Take that. It's a Schwartz beer. For all the German folks out there, Schwarzenegger, this one's for you. Even though you're Austrian, Schwartz, give it up for the Schwartz. The Germans. Oktoberfest is coming up, folks.
Yeah. Man, the year has flown by. And we've spent most of it with you guys. And I think that might be why the time's flown by so fast. Because, God damn it, we can't get through 2 hours without it being like, holy shit, time's up. And with that being said, folks,
time's up. See you later. Goodbye.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Oh, shit. We're still on.
Ooh. Holy shit. So I saw on the interwebs earlier today. Well, before we get into that, we'll just start with the headline. Sharknado is real. What I saw on the interwebs earlier today stated that Hurricane Irma off the coast of Florida has actually picked up sharks out of the water. So it might not be a Sharknado, but it's on a much more grand scale. And
right?
Yeah, that's it. Sharknado is legitimate. Deal with that, folks. Deal with that.
You know what? After 7-8 movies, I mean, it's bound to happen in real life sooner or later, right? I mean,
right. I mean, you think back to what was it, 2011, when people were doing bath salts and turning into zombies? I mean, shit, it
remember
does
that
happen.
shit? Yeah.
Fucking crazy. Naked people running around the streets, biting people's faces and necks. Crazy.
I know. I used to call
not
that
going
Saturday
down
night.
from a taser. Fuck yeah.
I like to be naked. Yeah. Sharknado, man. It's who would have thought that movie would make so much money? Such a profitable series.
It's great. I mean, everybody loves movies about like aquatic horrors to start with. Plus,
like The Little Mermaid, she was an aquatic horror.
No, that's an aquatic horror.
What'd you say?
Horror.
Oh, like Jaws. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. I thought you were talking about like Ariel.
Or Piranha, for that matter. I love Piranha. That was a good fucking
Anaconda?
movie.
Remember Anaconda? That was a horrible
it's kind
movie.
of an aquatic horror, yeah. How about Titan Boa versus Giga Crocodile? Those movies you can only watch on Sci-Fi.
What was the one? Deep Blue, where fucking Samuel L. Jackson gets eaten by a shark?
Yep.
Is that Deep Blue?
Yes, indeed.
That was the predecessor to Snakes on a Train, if you ask me. That was Sharks on a Submarine. Somebody read that and they're like, what if we put this movie in the sky? But we kept Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
We need him or it's not the movie.
But he plays a different character. Because he got eaten by the shark.
Well, wasn't Deep Blue basically just fucking Jurassic Park underwater?
Yeah, I
that
think
was Samuel L. Jackson
right.
on land with dinosaurs, and they moved it underwater with sharks, and then in the sky with snakes. Just put Samuel L. Jackson in a contained area with some sort of fucking reptile or amphibian or some sort of beast that isn't a mammal.
But they can't be real. They cannot be real. Because he won't work with real animals. At some point in his childhood, he had dreams to be like Steve Irwin.
Right?
But that all changed when a traumatic event happened. And the Fat Mack could tell you more about this traumatic event.
Well, what happened was Samuel L. Jackson was outside. He's 9 years old, and he was outside and he was playing. And what happened was a salamander came up, and it was a salamander, and he's like, oh, it's cute, it's a little salamander. And he went down to pet the salamander. Now, this guy's living in the urban areas, okay, folks? He went down to pet the salamander. He didn't realize there was a rat by it. A rat jumped up and bit him, and it took off. Well, Samuel L. Jackson thought the salamander done bit him. And the rest of his life, he was like, oh my gosh, all aquatic creatures are horrible.
But he had many pet rats over the years.
No, he kept pet rats, pet mice. He had ferrets that he had a set of ferrets that he called Key and Peele. And it's funny because this was long before Key and Peele were a thing.
That's actually where they got their names. They were hanging out with Sam Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah. Their real names aren't fucking Jason Key and Robert Peele. Or whatever the fuck their names are.
Keegan Michael Key and Peele.
Egon Peele. From the Ghostbusters.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, long story short, folks, that's how Samuel L. Jackson got into all these movies. It was a damn salamander and rat tag team combination.
Man, can you believe if he would have just saw that rat, we could have had rats on a roller coaster all these years?
Rats on a roller coaster. I imagine the Rick and Morty episode with Jerry where they're fighting on the roller coaster, but I imagine Samuel L. Jackson and then giant rats instead.
Yeah,
God, that would be a great movie.
That would be epic.
That would be so great. They could still do it. They could still do it.
They might.
They could still fucking do it. There's grounds to be explored with Samuel L. Jackson yet before he dies. I mean, what he's not going to be Nick Fury anymore, isn't he not in the new movie or whatever?
I actually haven't heard anything about that. I'll be pretty sad if that's true, though.
I did hear that Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury is not in the new movie coming up.
That's stupid because they killed him off and then brought him back. What's the point in bringing him back if he's just going to disappear again? Just let him be dead.
What is the new movie coming up?
We're getting into the Infinity Wars.
Infinity Wars, yes, sir. That's what I just read a little bit on that. I didn't look into it, so I don't know. Who fucking knows? I'm so behind in Marvel cinematography. I need to catch up. I haven't watched any of the Guardians of the Galaxies. I'm like I'm 1.5 Avengers movies behind. I haven't watched the new Spider-Man ones, which I know isn't Marvel's cinematic universe, but still.
Yes, it is.
I haven't watched them.
Spider-Man Homecoming is in the cinematic universe. The new Venom movie is not. The new Venom movie is a Sony movie, but they're going to make it rated R, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe wouldn't allow that. So
yeah.
I think, and if Sony and Marvel can't get along and just share all the assets the way they should, I feel like this is what they should do. Sony should do the more dark and gritty movies that you couldn't make PG-13, and Marvel, they should have Spider-Man. And I think if they can share Spider-Man and play nice, I think it'll be a really good time.
And Fox should follow suit. Fox should follow suit and give some of the mutant characters over to Marvel. And then they can do some of the darker Deadpool, Logan, and darker X-Men movies. You know what I mean?
Right.
But let some of their characters over. You know, Marvel skimmed by through a loophole for letting Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in there, but they were called miracles, not mutants. They're never referred to as mutants. They're miracles. And I think they need to do that because there's so many. I'd say 50%, maybe not quite, but at least in my mind, 50% of your big names of Marvel superheroes are in the X-Men universe.
Right.
I mean, it's a huge chunk.
I feel like they kind of waited a little bit too long, though, because, I mean, you don't got Hugh Jackman as Wolverine anymore. And that would have been great to have alongside of Iron Man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but isn't Tony Stark done with Iron Man too now?
I don't think it's yet, but it's going to be soon.
I think Tony Stark, or not Tony Stark, but Robert Downey Jr., I believe he's done with Iron Man after whatever he's contracted for. I don't know if he's contracted for one more Iron Man movie or not.
I did read somewhere about a year and a half ago that they're going to start pulling alternate heroes from other dimensions to take the roles as the actors stop wanting to play those roles. So I think we'll always have some semblance of an Iron Man, you know, we'll always, you know.
Well, and they should, because that's how the comics always did it. You know, I mean, some of the characters are quote unquote the original, but the in the comics, the superheroes change from who they are down the line. You know, Batman didn't always stay Batman. Flash wasn't always the same Flash, and so forth and so on. I mean, even Wolverine, the all new Wolverine comic book followed X-23. And that'd be cool if they kept the gal who played X-23 in the upcoming X-Men movies. I'd be okay with that. I thought she did an amazing job.
Yeah. And we definitely need to see, I mean, I guess there's possibility if Spider-Man does go back to Sony after this 3-movie stretch and Infinity Wars, we'll actually be able to see a crossover of Spider-Man and Deadpool, which would be good.
That would be cool.
Together.
And you know, Marvel Cinematic Universe or whoever wants it could always have the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Right? Yeah. No, they were talking about that years ago. That was supposed to be before, no, right after the Amazing Spider-Man series. That only got 2 movies off the ground. It was the worst, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even think I watched the first one. I watched the second one once. And, like, Jamie Foxx is Dubstep Man. He can create dubstep with his electrical fists.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it. I didn't. But you know, I know I've talked about it on Fantastic Fables. I think you and I have talked about it on here. The Spider-Man Homecoming is the Miles Morales Spider-Man. They just used Peter Parker in the place of Miles Morales. But the whole origin and his whole all of the people that he surrounds himself with, his friends and his allies, that's all ripped out of the Miles Morales storyline.
Which is kind of terrible.
It's not Peter Parker.
It's kind of terrible. They just whitewashed Black Spider-Man.
Black Mexican, but yeah. I mean, when you say Black Spider-Man, I just think of the symbiote suit. So we got to be a little specific.
African American Spider-Man. There. PC.
African Mexican American Spider-Man. Why are you always shitting on the Mexicans? How come I get the backlash for being fucking racist and you're the one shitting on the Mexicans?
Well, you know, as Peter Griffin always said, sex turns straight people gay and gay people into Mexicans. Everybody goes down a notch.
Yeah, I like to be gay every now and then. But then again, I like to be Mexican every now and then, too. And, you know, you can combine the two with a good old Dirty Sanchez.
Shit. You think you guys could ever talk about wrestling? No, bitch, shut up.
Was that a subtle hint that we should get talking about wrestling?
No, I don't think so. I think that was a strong hint that we should just stay away from it.
I want people to post in the comments. What do you tune into more, or do you just love our blend? But I mean, we're not gonna stop talking about wrestling, but like, you know, and we're not gonna stop bullshitting. But what do you enjoy more? What do you like to get out of this, man? Do you love our banter back and forth about bullshit that has nothing to do with anything? Or do you like just hearing about the wrestling and what's popping and all that? Or what do you enjoy? Let us know. We can fine tune it to this or that or the other, you know what I mean? To give you a little bit of what you want. Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, you know, click the notifications.
And for the love of everything that is holy, if you're watching us live on YouTube, participate in the live chat, interact with the show, give us something to go off of more than ourselves, because we could have a wild time with you. And if you're not listening to this live, do better next week. Tough love. That's how we do around beef sticks. Tough love.
Hey, man,
no lubrication.
Well, as a friend of mine once said, every now and then you got to just dip the cock in glass and give them a little pleasure, you know? Just a little pleasure. Oh, but you know what? We can talk about wrestling. We can. I think we're able to.
Right after this heartburn medication break.
There is actually a good deal to talk about. Not the biggest, but some big news. Two big things are happening right now that are actually the same thing, but one's a shoot and one's a work. So that kind of makes this interesting, and they aren't related. One wasn't related to the other. You have to assume one wasn't because of the other or vice versa or whatnot. So one of the biggest stories coming out of this week, excuse me, came from a GFW, that's Global Force Wrestling, press release that stated an initiative which provided information on partnerships with media companies for television exposure. Now, these initiatives included plans to launch the quote-unquote Global Wrestling Network, basically the same thing as the WWE Network. It's a multi-digital platform service designed to give fans around the world instant 24-hour access to extensive Global Force Wrestling and Impact Wrestling libraries. They say extensive Global Force Wrestling libraries, but that's got to be like 7 hours tops.
Right.
I give it 7 hours tops of shit that you could stream from GFW. So it's all fucking TNA Impact, okay, folks? Also, there's plans to launch the Impact Wrestling channel on Pluto TV, which is a 24-hour live feed of content on the leading free OTT, which is over-the-top television service in the U.S. An extension with their Pop TV contract in the U.S. to continue airing its flagship weekly show, Impact Wrestling, on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central if you live where we live. And a distribution deal with 7 Sports, which is a sports business unit of the Pro Cybian Sat 1 group. The first time I read that, I read Pro Cybian, and I thought it was like a bunch of chicks riding an electric cock. And I was like, I'm signing up for that fucking network right now. But it wasn't. But that deal would bring Impact back to screens in Germany, Austria, Switzerland via Fighting, which is a network over there. Now, keep in mind, these are just plans, and none of these actions are actually official or finalized. So this is what they plan to do. There's a chance none of those could happen. And
in the case of Global Force, you know, chances are pretty good.
Yeah, and a big reason about perhaps their biggest one, which they need the most, being Pop TV, PWInsider.com, which we get a lot of news from because they're very trustworthy and they tend to break news the most. They have provided details on Jeff Jarrett's immediate leave of absence from GFW, stating Ed Nordholm, which is the head of Anthem Entertainment, was the person to make the decision and met with Jarrett personally in Nashville earlier that day. Additionally, it is noted that the decision was only made a few hours before the announcement. It said Jarrett did not know the move was coming, and he was actually scheduled to host an NFL fantasy draft party for the GFW locker room, which apparently ended up being hosted at GFW headquarters, probably by Ed Nordholm or fucking someone else. Could have been Bobby Lashley. Who knows? According also to PW Insider, the general belief is there was unhappiness in the company with alleged erratic behavior, quote unquote, and not actually a decision based on disappointment in creative direction. So this was not so much a professional deal, but almost a behind the scenes deal.
Right.
It was said that the decision has been building for several months, with the final straw being Jarrett's appearance at Triple Mania, which for those of you who don't know, that's AAA biggest wrestling. AAA is the largest pro wrestling company in Mexico, and that's their biggest event. That's their WrestleMania, Triple Mania. Get it? And the final straw was Jarrett's appearance at Triple Mania. Does that mean it's 3 times as good? Usually is, yes. And this cited that Jarrett was reportedly stumbling on the ring steps, and his physical appearance posed him to be possibly inebriated during the show, which just is not good in a professional setting. Sources also told PW Insider that Jarrett's troubling personal behavior also includes Jarrett's handling of the Broken Hardy situation, which he's gone out and actually both gave Hardys credit and shit on them. Sometimes in the same interview. He's been very bipolar on that. Also, him trying to stay between Nordholm and the wrestling side of the business with Anthem. So almost putting himself as a blocking piece in between there. And it also noted less than professional behavior while socializing and or drinking with Alberto El Patron, who is a friend of his. I can see that. I can see both Jarrett. He probably slapped her up a few times. They don't call him slap nuts for nothing, buddy.
Now, do you think El Patron recorded him banging her?
I think there's definitely video of Jeff Jarrett fucking Paige out there somewhere. I'm gonna go on record and say that. Xavier Woods might have been involved. I want Xavier Woods just to be in the background playing the trombone, you know? Just with the slap nuts, with the nuts slapping. Just keep rhythm. I want to see that fucking video. Which brings up a point in regards to El Patron's status with the company. It is said that Nordholm, who is again the head of Anthem Entertainment, was willing to let El Patron go due to the Orlando airport incident, which we covered at length both here on Beef Sticks Podcast and Fantastic Fables. And Jarrett was said to actually calm the situation, but that may change with Jarrett taking a leave of absence. A unnamed source speaking on the situation said, with everything going on, Jarrett needed a break and tried to keep the peace, but he desperately wanted his company back and wanted to prove to everyone he was right all along with his vision. Selling gold makes money, I think, is his vision.
Buy gold, ? Profit.
Yeah.
That's the Jeff Jarrett plan.
And the Underpants Gnomes both. He knows he's worked under the tutelage of the Underpants Gnomes. He knows their style. So moving forward, it is believed that Karen will end up being gone as long as Jeff is gone. But Scott D'Amore, who's been with TNA for a long time, also worked in WWE. If you remember, he was the coach for the Team Canada and NWA. And Dutch Mantel, who has both worked for TNA and WWE. They will both remain on board, as well as Jim Cornette, who just came in as an on-air character recently. There were a number of meetings regarding the future of the company, with a source reporting that Big John Gaborick, you might know Big if you watched any of the Tough Enough reality shows that WWE put out a while back. He used to be a talent scout for WWE, and he's worked backstage in TNA for a long, long time. He was retained as sort of a plan B if Jeff Jarrett didn't work out. So they kind of seen this coming. They knew it may happen, and they've always had him in the back. Although some downplayed it, there is some belief that Big John inherited a lot of power within the company with Jeff Jarrett being out. So that's kind of big news. This is now the second time Jeff Jarrett has been kicked out of his own company. That's pretty sad. Not a lot of people get that once in their lifetime. He's had it twice. You know, I think of the what was it called? The Men's Warehouse. You remember the Men's Warehouse, Paystee?
Oh yeah.
He used to have the commercials, and he was sitting there, and he's like, "You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it." Mm-hmm. I remember there was a big deal like 5 years ago when the board of directors kicked him out, and it was like he was gone. The sad thing is, I haven't heard anything about the Men's Warehouse since I heard about that happening. So I don't know whatever happened. I don't know if they still have commercials or if they still got bill. I don't know. Somebody let us know. Is Men's Warehouse still out there? Do they guarantee that we're going to look good? These are the answers we need to know.
This is what Beef Sticks Podcast exists for.
So that's pretty damn sad. And in all honesty, that probably would have gave him our Jerry of the Week. Our Jerry of the Week is coming up later. So that tells you how sad that is. The man getting kicked out of his company twice didn't even get the Jerry of the Week. But moving along on this, because there's more. This is sad. This is TNA all over again. They changed their initials to GFW. Shit hasn't changed. It's sad. I'm switching over to Crazy Aunt real quick, but we're gonna keep going.
All right. By the way, Men's Warehouse does still exist, though they closed 250 stores last year.
See? Because he isn't there guaranteeing how I'm going to look.
Right.
That's why.
You need that guarantee. How else are you supposed to feel good about yourself?
I usually do it by sticking a finger just right on the taint, like in between the sack and the hole. And I usually just do a little circuit. I do a little circuit. That's how I feel good about my. Yeah. That's how I feel good about myself.
Like a temple massage for your gooch.
Yeah. You know how it is.
There you go.
Splooge everywhere, man. I splooge everywhere. It's amazing.
And that's
so now,
how he holds his
Sports
mustache
Illustrated-
up.
That was rough even for me, dog.
I got a delayed punchline rim shot in there.
I like it. So, woo! Sports Illustrated, which is a very reputable news source for anything sports and entertainment related, covered this story, adding that GFW is literally hemorrhaging funds. Shit's shooting out of them. Money just blah, blah, blah. Like me when I rubbed, the
If they're shooting money like that, I need to go hang out outside their headquarters.
Sources closest to the situation have confirmed that Anthem is ready to withdraw itself from the wrestling industry and actually sell GFW. Anthem even needed to gut the Fight Network in order to finance GFW. If you don't know, Fight Network is basically what Anthem was known for before they bought TNA, which became GFW. It was basically an MMA / pro wrestling sort of coverall. They covered MMA fights and pro wrestling and stuff like that. Despite the entire ordeal, wrestling is all about commodities, though. And Anthem has a worthwhile commodity if it decides to sell GFW or Impact, which is primarily due to its tape library. Now, this rumor came out, it seems like quite a few years ago, but it could have been just a couple
library for fucking ever.
You know, I mean, it's every time it gets talked about them being sold, the big exclamation point is their tape library, which is sad. That means that their library is more valuable than their entity. That's like saying that my shits are more valuable than me as a person. What I left behind is more valuable than the living, breathing entity. That's very, very sad. And as we've said every time before, and this is Sports Illustrated agrees, at least in this article, that WWE would top the list of any potential suitors to buy the tape library, as that library is extremely valuable, especially at this point in time when a number of WWE's top stars, which include AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, as well as Raw General Manager Kurt Angle, all produced some incredibly compelling work in TNA. Now, this is a Beef Sticks edit. In that article, they also left out Mickie James, Drew McIntyre, Eric Young, Xavier Woods, Bobby Roode, Booker T, Maria and Mike Bennett, or Kanellis, whatever you want to call them, and of course, the Beef Sticks hero, IHOP TJP, TJ Perkins!
IHOP TJP!
Who, by the way, was a rumor to replace JBL on commentary for SmackDown. For SmackDown. Which would have been interesting. I don't know about good, interesting. So anyways, if the company were ever to pursue Ring of Honor's Jay Lethal, he also has very entertaining work from TNA with his Randy Savage-inspired Black Machismo character, as well as his Ric Flair impersonations. They mention that, but they don't mention that his in-ring work is also just amazing in TNA.
Right.
But yes, his Black Machismo and Ric Flair are awesome. In fact, there's a segment, go on YouTube and look it up, folks. There's a segment of Jay Lethal and Ric Flair having a woo off, going back and forth.
I love that clip.
God, that's just awesome. Awesome and amazing. And Ric Flair doesn't have enough good things to say about him either. So, If the WWE actually decides to purchase GFW or Impact Wrestling, the Hardys could stand to benefit the most from it. WWE would then own the Broken Universe intellectual property without any fucking lawsuits or bullshit or anything. And Broken Matt and Brother Nero could mesmerize WWE audience with their broken brilliance. That would be the coup de grace.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sorry, Finn Balor.
Hey, now would be a good time to do it. And I think even with Jeff Jarrett being gone, I think GFW is going to fight less to keep the gimmick anyway.
Well, the thing here is, too, before it was Dixie Carter fighting to save her company, and she wasn't going to give in to WWE. It wasn't like, okay, I'll just sell the tape library and try to... She wasn't there to make money. She wanted to save her dying brand. Now it's a big faceless conglomerate company who owns a property, and they'll do whatever they can to make money.
Right.
So they'd quick as shit just sell out the library if that's what it takes. They'd quick as shit sell out the name if that's what it takes. I mean, they have no attachment to this brand whatsoever. So once Dixie Carter was out of the picture, and you know what, I'd argue that Billy Corgan would have fought to save the brand itself, because I feel he had an emotional connection. Anthem doesn't. So Anthem, I could just see them taking whatever they can get. Whether that's sad or not, I don't know. Some would say it's finally putting a bullet in the brain of a dying fucking animal for decades. Others would say it'd be the end of a cancer patient battling ruthlessly to stay alive. You know what I mean? I, as a longtime TNA fan from the beginning, would see it as the end of an era. I would not be happy to see TNA, which is now GFW/Impact Wrestling, close, even though I don't even watch it anymore. I don't watch it.
Right.
I somewhat follow it. It's a bastardized child of what it used to be, but I still hold on to that little fucking cunt hair of admiration of what it used to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Yeah, it definitely used to be great. It could still
at one
be
point,
great.
not for a long time.
Well, the Broken Hardys. That's about all I'm talking about.
Well, I'd say I thought it was great from the beginning. So I'd say from 2002 to 2010, it was better, in my opinion, just me personally, it was better than WWE from that time period. That's only me talking as a fan.
Yeah.
That's not basing it off of anything else. But what I enjoyed, because in fact from 2002 to about 2007 or so, I didn't even watch WWE. I only watched TNA and Ring of Honor and other stuff. So that's me personally. Now, yes, a few times after that, I'd say Aces and Eights, which some people just despise, I loved.
Oh, no, yeah, that was a good gimmick. Good angle.
And like you said, the Broken Universe, of course. How could you not get behind the Broken Universe? That was awesome also. I mean, hey, look at the Mae Young Classic, which we could talk a little bit about here. But there's a lot of wrestlers from TNA that are in the Mae Young Classic that had good runs in TNA. TNA has always been good on female wrestling.
Yeah. No, I still haven't gotten around to starting to watch the Mae Young Classic. I really want to wait till it finishes out and then just kind of binge through it all almost.
Right. You know I can't binge, so I've watched the first round. The second round came out this last Monday, and I haven't gotten to it yet.
How long are they?
They're 45 minutes each, so you know, an hour if there were commercials. So not long. Some really good matches, some really good standouts. I would have to say Hyrie Sane, who was Hyrie Kojo in Stardom, which I talked about many weeks ago as probably my pick. Her match was fucking awesome. She took on Tessa Blanchard, daughter of Four Horsemen Tully Blanchard, in just a fucking awesome match. That's probably the best match of the first round. So that one was good, but of course you got two. I was surprised they put those two together, because I thought for sure Kyrie Hojo and Tessa Blanchard were two of them that they were pushing far. So for them to be two pitted against each other in the first round, it was almost like a part of me was afraid that they'd have Kairi Hojo lose. So that was awesome. Mercedes Martinez, she had a really good match. Oh, who did she face off against? Oh, did she face off? I think she faced off against the Chinese woman. Because I immediately, as soon as there was a Chinese woman in there, I thought of the Cruiserweight Classic. And I thought of how that fucking Ho-Ho Loon motherfucker beat Arya Daivari and crushed every Minnesotan's fucking hopes and dreams. And I was like, I hope this fucking Chinese broad goes down. Mercedes whoop her ass. I think she did that. They had this one gal on here. Oh, what was her name? They had one gal on here that didn't win, who I thought was the most beautiful looking woman I've seen in a long time. Just gorgeous. She was all right in the ring too. She wasn't great, but she was all right. I thought she was better than who she was facing. I can't remember who they are at this point though right now. Candice LeRae, I can't remember what her I can't remember what they call her in this thing, but Candice LeRae faced off against a Brigitte Nielsen looking bitch. Do y'all know who Brigitte Nielsen is?
I don't.
She's a big ass fucking German broad who was at least in Beverly Hills Cop 2. I don't know if she's been in a lot. I think she was in one of the Rockies. She was married to Sylvester Stallone for a while, and then she dated Flava Flav.
Oh.
like two complete fucking opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
But that's what this bitch reminded me of. She was German. She was a big ass tough bitch. She had the blonde mohawk, which Brigitte had in Beverly Hills Cop 2, if I remember right. So Candice LeRae faced off against her. Candice LeRae is just amazing. I love her. Just watch anything World's Greatest Tag Team with her and Joey Ryan, who I love Joey Ryan also. Actually, anybody who doesn't know her work or anybody who just wants to see an awesome match that you're not going to see on WWE TV, go look up. It's the World's Cutest Tag Team, which is Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan versus the Young Bucks. And I want to say it was in PWG. And this was probably back in 2000. God, was this 2013, 14, 15? Anyways, World's Cutest Tag Team versus the Young Bucks, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Awesome fucking awesome match. Like, just watch it. You'll be blown away. Then they had this gal who was on NXT who has the best fucking ass in all of pro wrestling I've seen for a long time, outside of maybe Asuka and Alexa Bliss. I don't remember her name either. She lost, but she had an awesome ass. Mia Yim wrestled. Who did Mia Yim wrestle? Mia Yim did not wrestle the nice ass bitch. I don't remember who Mia Yim wrestled. I wonder, I could look some of this up, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could.
Just get a rundown. I'm going off memory, folks. My memory ain't the best. I don't want to see spoilers. That's what I'm worried about. Because I know that the second round is out already. Mae Young Classic. First round. Can I get just the first round? Now we're both looking shit up on a computer and it's fucking riveting YouTube television.
It's thrilling.
Isn't it?
Exciting.
You motherfuckers. Oh man, that already says second round. You motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. I wonder if I can do Wikipedia, but skip. I'm going to go to Wikipedia and hope I skip the second round. If I spoil it, you know what? That's a sacrifice I make for you folks at Beef Sticks Podcast. Is I'm willing to sacrifice spoilers to give you the info you need. Where are we at? What the fuck is this?
Porn?
Oh, that
It's
was the
always porn.
qualifying. No, yeah, it was porn. That was the qualifying matches. Oh shit! Yeah.
Casting
Are you
couch.
giving me? You are giving me. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get spoilers, but I'll try to skip past them. Jazzy Gabert versus Abby Lath. Abby Lath is what they call Candice LeRae now. And Jazzy Gabert is the Brigitte Nielsen looking broad.
There you go.
Rachel Ellering, who now they call Rachel Evers for some reason, but it's Paul Ellering's daughter.
Cool.
And they make it known that it's Paul Ellering's daughter, so why the fuck do they change her name? I don't get it. Her real name is Rachel Ellering. Paul Ellering is currently on NXT TV.
Right.
They acknowledge she's Paul Ellering's daughter. Why change her name? Anyways, she faced off against Marty Bell, famous for Dollhouse fame and TNA folks, who Mia Yim was also in as Jade. But surprisingly, Rachel Ellering won that one. I can't believe I forgot this because, folks, the rumor and innuendo is, and this isn't on the phone. The rumor and innuendo on this is that Marty Bell was doing so shitty during the match that they called an audible during the match and changed the ending. Because originally Marty Bell was supposed to win, who I expected was going to win, just because of her fame and her longevity. And she's a really good wrestler, to be honest. Although, to be fair, she's had a lot of shitty spots too that she's fucked up. If anybody watches Botchamania, you know Marty Bell pretty well because she's been on there a lot. But anyways, so Rachel Ellering ended up beating Marty Bell, but allegedly, rumor and innuendo says the original plan was for Rachel Ellering to lose to Marty Bell, but that she was doing so shitty, backstage they fucking let the referee know to tell them we're fucking flopping it. So that's something. Kaylee Ray lost to Princess Sue Hay. Princess Sue Hay is pretty badass. She's a masked luchador. This was maybe the first. Was this the first match? This might have been the first match of the show, and this was kind of what tipped me off to the fact that the commentary was going to be subpar on this show. It might get better in the next few rounds as Lita and JR get a little better chemistry. But Paystee, I'm telling you now, Beef Sticks followers, I'm telling you now, commentary kind of sucks so far for this Mae Young Classic. Lita and JR are not the best team.
Lita's not good. I don't know why they put her on pre-show panels. I don't know why they put her... She was never a talker, and she's never going to be a talker.
I feel she does okay on pre-show panels, but there's usually 4 people up there. So it's not a big deal, but with just her and JR, it's really lackluster. I had heard rumblings that I'm drawing a blank on her name. Talking smack and fucking Dean Ambrose's broad.
Oh, Renee Young.
Renee Young. I had heard talks that Renee Young might be on there. I thought that would be a good spot for her. She seems decent, and it would be a good place for her to get experience.
Although she did tweet out after a fan outpouring for it that she was not very good when she was an announcer on NXT. So why would they think she'd be any better now?
And she was on NXT, but she was only on NXT for like 3 weeks. And maybe just because she was so horrible. But, I don't know. I feel like I'm not a fan of the 3-man announce booth, but I feel like it would have helped here because there's a lot of dead talk or a lot of dead air where there's not a lot going on in the ring. And just certain things like in this match especially, it really stuck out to me. At one point, Princessa Suhei is adjusting her mask, and JR says, Lita says, yeah, she's adjusting her mask there a little bit. It's part of their tradition and heritage to have the mask, but it can be a hindrance. And JR says something along the lines of, yeah, and I've heard that it can cause some breathing problems also. You wrestled in Mexico. Did you ever wear a mask? And Lita just says, no. And then there's just this long span of dead silence where it's like,
It's
You know,
like the
JR
kind of
was expecting
commentary
her
you'd
to say
expect in a WWE 2K game.
Yeah. It's like, you know, he expected her to say something, and she just said no.
No.
It's like she could have said something like, "No, but I wrestled a lot of masked luchadores, and I know this and that and that and this," or something, you know. And it just like that was the first big thing that tipped me off. And through the rest of the first round, they have some good points, but it's mostly pretty low. Also, I want to say here, Princessa Suhei, her name is spelled Sughit. So it's pronounced Suhei, but it's spelled Sughit.
Sughit.
And I really want WWE, if she gets signed, I want them to sign her, and I want them to hire Suge Knight to fucking be her manager and just walk her to the ring. He doesn't have to talk. He doesn't have to do nothing. He just walks with her. He smokes his big cigar. And she's Princess Sughit. And when somebody pisses Suge off, he sends her after them. Because he can't touch women, but she can fuck them up. I thought that when I read it the first time. I was like, Princess Sughit.
Watch yourself. You're going to wind up like Biggie and Pac.
Right? Oh, rest in peace, Tupac Shakur. Today is the anniversary of him getting shot. Not the anniversary of his death. That happened 7 days later. So I'll be giving a shout out to him next week also. But
Fun
yeah, the
fact,
anniversary of Tupac.
I'm currently drinking Tupac's favorite drink, the Screwdriver.
I think Hennessy was his favorite drink. But go ahead. Screwdrive your white ass up, you pasty motherfucker. All right, with that being said,
you were talking about dead on the announce team. And that just leads me to, holy shit, JBL resigned from the SmackDown announce team this week. That didn't hit me as hard as the realization that we are almost legendless on the announce teams on both Raw and SmackDown. And at some point in my near future, I feel like Michael Cole's gonna go, and then I'm gonna be lost. I'm gonna be so lost.
You consider Michael Cole a WWE legend?
He on the announce booth? Oh yeah. He's been with me my whole life. I love the man.
I'll give you that. He's been there since the Attitude Era.
But I mean, everybody else is falling off. Why would Michael Cole stick on for too much longer? You know what I mean?
And he shouldn't have to. He's put a lot into this company.
That's why they have so many announcers right now, is because they're trying to bring in the right next generation. They're not all going to be announcers
Graves
forever.
Was the correct, he was the correct replacement. I didn't expect it. And he's going to run himself ragged.
Yeah, he is.
It's a huge schedule for him right now. Huge schedule. But because he does Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live. At least, along with all his extra shit that he does.
Right. Well, he wants those extra checks. You know what I mean? Good on him.
I was happy for it. On to the Mae Young Classic. Like I said, martinis. Martinis.
Martinis are
I could
delicious.
use some martinis, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Mercedes Martinez. The Chinese broad I was talking about that she took on was Jai Li. So, Ho Ho Loon, fuck you. Nicole Savoy took on Rena Gonzalez. I believe was Rena Gonzalez the one I thought was just extremely sexy.
That would be for you to answer. I don't know.
No, it was Miranda Salinas, so that's coming up. Candice LeRae took on Renee Michelle. Candice LeRae won. Sarah Logan took on Mia Yim. Mia Yim you might know from TNA as Jade, or you might know her from Mia Yim on Shimmer and Shine on the Independents. Multi-time champion. She's been a champion everywhere. So I would have been very upset if she didn't win. Shayna Baszler. Most of you out there should know the name Shayna Baszler. She is one of the 4 horsewomen of UFC fame, not NXT fame. And she took on Zeta. Zeta was the broad with the extremely nice ass.
There you go.
But I will say, Shayna Baszler deserved the win. The best ass in the world doesn't equal the best talent in the world. And Shayna Baszler is just a badass fighter. All of the 4 horsewomen were there, which was kind of cool. So That was I did not expect to see everybody there. Shayna Baszler had her UFC women in the corner. Could that add to something? Could that add to something coming up in the future with the 4 horsewomen of WWE?
That says WrestleMania all over it, man.
And the 4 horsewomen, of UFC.
Obviously, we know who'd win that one. In a real fight.
Yes, we do. But just the fact that Ronda Rousey, I guess, I was kind of, I shouldn't be surprised that Ronda Rousey was there because she's talked so much about wanting to get into the pro wrestling stuff, and then she just basically gave up on UFC after her loss.
Right.
Or MMA or whatever the fuck she's doing. So, Kairi Hojo, who is now Kairi Sane here, beat Tessa Blanchard, as I talked about. By the way, Kairi Sane, Kairi Hojo, best fucking flying elbow in the industry. Bar none, hands down. Watch her, folks. If you don't even want to watch Kairi Hojo's matches, and if you don't want to watch the Mae Young Classic, just look up Kairi Hojo flying elbow and get a compilation of them. And it'll make you think the Macho Man didn't know how to do a flying elbow. Just going to put that out there. There was rumors that they weren't going to let her use her flying elbow because Bayley uses the flying elbow. But she does use her flying elbow, and it is an extravagant one in this one also. Sage Beckett took on Bianca Belair, Dakota Kai, Kavadi Devay, Rhea Ripley, Miranda Salinas. Miranda Salinas is the gal that I thought was just fucking gorgeous. Look her up if you want to, because she was just beautiful. Serena Deeb, folks. Serena Deeb is back. She took on a Vanessa Bourne.
Jason Bourne's sister?
I guess, Jason Bourne's sister. She won a qualifying round in NXT, I guess. She's a former fucking Lakers girl and one of the football cheerleaders.
I remember seeing that match on one episode of NXT that I randomly cut.
Yeah, she's really nothing fucking to talk about. She was a throwaway, basically, is what she was. Serena Deeb, if y'all don't know Serena Deeb from the Independents and from TNA, you might know her from the Straight Edge Society, which was CM Punk and Doc Gallows.
Luke Gallows.
So, I mean, she's been in the WWE before. She is basically, what I took away from her interview is she is the Brian Kendrick of this tournament. I'm calling her the Serena Deeb. Because not only is she a veteran who used to wrestle in WWE, she's a veteran who used to wrestle in WWE. No, that's Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane is the pirate. She has the hat. She comes down with a fucking steering wheel from a ship.
Okay.
I'm not making that up.
Well, there you go.
But Serena Deeb, she was in WWE and she left, similar to the Brian Kendrick. She left because she was let go due to alcohol problems, similar to Brian Kendrick. She got her shit cleaned up. She worked hard on the independents. She became a big name on the independents, like the Brian Kendrick. And now she's back in a WWE tournament, and I would be flabbergasted if she doesn't come back at least for a while after the tournament. She's not going to win it, but she's definitely going to be back for a little while afterwards. I would be flabbergasted if she wasn't.
So what else do we have? Am I correct in saying I have not heard Leva Bates' name in this lineup?
No, Leva Bates is not in here.
No blue pants? That's ridiculous. Blue pants.
Santana Garrett took on Piper Niven in probably the worst fucking match of the night, which is surprising because Santana Garrett is really fucking good. But this Piper Niven didn't impress me much.
What kind of a name is that? Niven.
Piper Niven?
Niven.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like it.
Aisha Raymond and Toni Storm. Toni Storm looks promising. She won. She beat Aisha Raymond. She impressed me. I can't think of one thing that super sticks out to me other than she seemed like she impressed me. Like she had that it thing. Like, ooh, I'm going to watch her going forward, you know?
There you go. That's what you need, especially to get Vince's eye.
Yeah. So that's a rundown of the first round of the Mae Young Classic. So that way, if if that gave you some little tickle in your balls to go out and watch it, I hope it does. Check it out on the WWE Network, or you can pirate it. It's easy to do. It's on the internet. Go ahead and do it.
Yo ho.
Otherwise, I just gave you the rundown, and you can just keep up with us, and we'll keep you tuned. Next week I'll have week 2, which I should have had this week, and I'm just always going to be a week behind for you.
There you go. Hey, it's the B-Sticks way, man. It's the B-Sticks way.
It's the way we do things.
Have you seen Ric Flair's new T-shirt yet?
Woo!
I ain't dead yet, motherfuckers.
Yep. I ain't dead yet. I love it. In fact, he put out a I don't know, a tweet, a Vine, or whatever, small little video or whatever, promoting the shirt where he came out and said, "I ain't dead yet, motherfuckers."
Very nice. We should have that on. We need that for a sound button. Need it.
We should. I should find that for us. I'll find that for us. It's on your Facebook, your Twit, your Vine, your Spit, whatever you use to get media. It's there.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
holy shit. You know, I didn't realize until this week how close we are coming to Hell in a Cell. Like, whoa. It is almost October. And they're going to have pink ropes.
You know what? I hope they don't this year again, but by gum, I bet they fucking will.
Oh, they will. You know they will. And a Susan G. Komen speech at Hell in a Cell.
I was surprised last year. Last year, some of the NFL didn't have the pink shoes and pink gloves. Like, I'd watch some matches and some did and some didn't, and it made me kind of happy. So hopefully we're getting past this fucking pink phase.
It definitely shouldn't be like a mandatory thing.
It just takes away from the show. I'm not against.
But then again, I mean,
money against cancer.
You saw the shit with Connor the Crusher this week when she brought out a whole new batch of kids, like the Tumornator.
Dude, you know what? I fucking hate being a parent. 'Cause I'm not gonna fucking lie. I had a hard time watching that. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
I had
me
a hard time watching that.
She's exploiting children who are dying for a charity owned by the WWE that you can guarantee not every dollar goes to.
It's sad. It's sad. But
and I was really not happy when the first one came out and she announced that he was the Tumornator. That's another button I need.
Well, and then I started thinking too, like, are they just gambling on the fact that they're not going to get sued? Because one dude came out as the Iron Man.
The Iron Man,
just wearing an Superman Iron Man Halloween costume.
Mm-hmm. The Superman.
Yeah, the Superman, and he literally had the Superman S. I'm like, are they just gambling on the fact that none of these places will sue them because it's for cancer fucking
right. You won't sue dying kids.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's allegedly to help these cancer kids, you know. So they would look like dicks if they did sue them. But that's really just fucking waving it in their face, man.
Right.
They didn't even like change it like the Tin Man or like the Iron Child. They didn't even say the Iron Kid or the Iron Child. It was like the Iron Man. And he came out in Iron Man. The Superman. And he came out with the big Superman S. The literal.
Yes.
They just ironed out the Superman S.
On the back, though, it had his own initials. I thought that was kind of funny. On the cape, it was his initials. But on the shirt, it was definitely the Superman S.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, are they just really rolling the dice here?
They really are.
And you know what the worst part is? They're probably not rolling the dice, because the worst part is it's for Connor's cure. So you know what? They wouldn't even sue WWE. They'd sue Connor's cure.
Right. You would literally be suing the children who are dying.
Yeah. It's like, fuck you.
So they can get away with whatever they want to.
Oh, if WWE knows how to fucking exploit a gimmick.
It's like ICP and Psychopathic Records and then Psychopathic Rydas. It's the same people, two different entities. So if you sue the Rydas, they only got $5 in their account. Take it. That was the theory, or that was how they rolled back in the day when everything was still one. Juggalo fact for all of you listeners out there in the interwebs.
Oh. Yeah, you got Susan G. Komen, and you got you got all this shit. The Warrior Award. I mean, it's literally, I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's smart on their public relation end to exploit this. Business-wise, it's smart.
Oh, yeah.
But human-wise, you'd think they could just, you'd think, but maybe not. Then again, maybe that's why I don't have billions of dollars and Vince does. Because I'm not willing to pull that fucking trigger.
Vince has no morals. He has no morals.
I mean, you can't be a businessman, can you?
Nope.
Not to be a successful businessman. Makes me think of Morty without his toxins. You know what I mean?
Right. Like Wolf of Wall Street. You got to do a lot of coke and whack off 20, 30 times a day.
I'm sorry, but I really wasn't who I said that I was. You're not a 13-year-old boy who lost all of his morals and became a fucking Wall Street guy by leeching off of everybody else. Oh, wow, I guess I was pretty upfront about myself, wasn't I? God, that was a good episode. That might be my favorite episode of this season so far.
It was good. I liked it a lot.
Fucking Mad Max one. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I like how Rick figured it out in the end. You know what I mean?
I like how one of Rick's toxins is his love for Morty. Right, so in Rick's mind, his love of Morty is a negative thing.
Mm-hmm. But that's been kind of a reoccurring theme the entire season, hasn't it?
It has, but they always come back to, does he actually love Morty, or is he always just using him?
But in this episode, it was kind of confirmed.
In this episode, they proved he does love him. He just feels that it's a negative.
Right. Could this be because the original Morty died? Probably.
Dun, dun, dun. Could this be because he is the original Morty and he hates what he originally was?
I do love that theory. And it makes sense because Rick's grooming Morty to be Rick. But how did Morty become Rick in the first place then?
Yeah, that I mean, it leaves as many questions as answers.
Right. See, because that would be the first point they've gone to the time factor with Rick and Morty, and then things get really confusing.
Yeah, then it really gets fucked up. Once you
we can handle unlimited universes, but once you get time in there, whoo.
A lesson of not screwing up history from Mr. I'm my own grandpa. Any of y'all that don't know that reference, fuck you. We got 15 minutes left, and we got a handful more.
Morty has the potential to become Rick or Jerry. Boom! Holy shit! God. I could see them to do that too.
Scary. That is very scary. Very scary. All right, dude, we got 15 minutes left. We haven't even got to the Jerry of the week, talking about Jerry's. I'm gonna nail down a couple more news notes.
Oh.
And something, and then we're gonna talk about something. Are you able to
I got it already. It's all ready. It's all ready. It's perfect. Big pictures so they can see the gritty details.
All right. So I'm gonna go down a few of these lists, and then we'll hit Jerry of the week at the end, and then we'll just fucking fuck around for a while. All right.
All right.
So some more news here, folks. Last week we had a whole list of fucking injuries we were going down. We got another superstar to add to this. Perhaps the biggest superstar, Kenny Omega, joins the list of recently injured wrestlers. He recently sustained an injury to his left knee's lateral meniscus.
No.
Due to this, I know, right? But there's good news. Due to this, New Japan Pro Wrestling released the following. It said, match lineup change. Due to injury, Kenny Omega will not appear in matches from 9/7 to 9/22. But his next scheduled match is currently 9/24 in Kobe. That's Kobe, Japan, not Kobe Bryant. So it sounds like he's not going to be out long. A quick surgery, a quick recovery, and he's back. So that's good news. That's very good news. Before the end of the month, he'll be back if everything goes well. So that's not too shitty. That's all right. A couple of signing news here. WWE has signed Lio Rush and Donovan Dijak separately. For those of you who don't know, Lio Rush was the winner of the Ring of Honor 2016 Top Prospect Tournament. He is also a former CZW World Heavyweight Champion and a former two-time CZW Wired Champion. The Wired Championship used to be called the Wired TV Championship. It basically was their TV championship, but they don't have TV like they used to, so it's just the Wired Championship. It's their secondary title. Lio Rush, extremely talented individual.
Oh yeah.
I've followed him for years. He's fun to watch. He's one. I could see him following the Solomon Crow, where WWE might not, and Austin Aries, where WWE doesn't quite know what to do with him, even in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And he might end up leaving, but we'll see what happens. I'm really happy for him. I really enjoy him. I'm excited to see him. Donovan Dijak also got signed, and he also comes from Ring of Honor. He doesn't have as much accomplishments to his name. Me personally, I'm not a Donovan Dijak fan. Paystee, you and I have talked about him briefly before. I believe you're not a big Dijak fan either, are you?
No. Nah, he's not overly impressive.
He's kind of he's not overly impressive. I'm hoping he comes to WWE and they find his niche that Ring of Honor couldn't, and maybe he actually ends up super impressing me.
Hey, they did it with Jinder.
They haven't, but they could. They haven't, but they could.
Oh, just own it. They have.
Oh, speaking of that, here's something.
Segue.
Jinder Mahal actually has now held the WWE Championship over 100 days. Now, not only is that a fucking feat amongst itself,
right?
And not only did nobody a year ago expect to ever hear that, but to put that into context, folks, that is longer than Sasha Banks's combined title reigns, because she has now had 4 women's title reigns, and they have combined to less than 100 days. So Jinder Mahal's one reign as WWE champion, is now longer than Sasha Banks' 4 title reigns combined.
Ain't that some shit?
Fuck.
You know what? I'm willing to bet he's defended his championship more times than Brock Lesnar, too.
Probably. But I bet he has less clean wins than Brock. I know he has less clean wins than Brock.
Yeah. Well, unless you're talking about steroids. I guess you're still in a gray area there.
That's true. Because I'm pretty sure they're both on steroids and not being tested.
I want to see them fight each other at WrestleMania in an unsanctioned match so they can use as much juice as they want to. Right?
A juice on a pole match.
They could both come out like Bane from Batman and just turn the shit on.
Speaking of that, so are we all but guaranteed now that it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Like, is there any chance
that that's not happening? Well, it can't be Reigns versus Cena now, because this is happening already and Cena's going to be gone.
Which is stupid. It's happening at fucking No Way Out.
Right. It should have happened at SummerSlam. But Cena was gone again. No Mercy? Yeah.
And Brock and fucking Strowman's happening at No Mercy. That's a huge match.
Right. Yeah.
And then we have fucking Shane versus Kevin Owens in a Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell. That's a huge match. Why are they throwing away all these matches?
Maybe they got something better planned.
So, but back to my original question. I mean, the way it's booked now, is there any other option than Reigns versus a Brock Lesnar, with Reigns being the winner at WrestleMania?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't think so either. I mean,
it's a tough call.
Anything can happen between now and then, but the way
Right.
everything's set up, I think that's what they're shooting for.
I have a feeling that after Hell in a Cell, Kevin Owens is going to be going back to Raw. That's my thought.
He could. I know Randy Orton seems to be campaigning backstage to go back to Raw. He doesn't.
Orton
seem
should just stay
SmackDown.
where he is, especially since Cena's not there anymore. He can be the top vet. You know what I mean? Over in Raw, he's either going to be overused or not used well enough.
Yeah, hey, his match versus Shinsuke Nakamura, I don't know if you watched SmackDown this week, was actually badass.
Yeah, it was.
That was a good match.
Oh, yeah.
I was impressed. I did not expect much from it, and I was impressed with it.
That was almost as good as James Ellsworth and his leader breaking up and then making out and then her slapping him. Carmella.
I know, she makes out with him, and then she slaps him.
He probably slipped some tongue in her mouth, and it wasn't planned.
Until Big Cass gets a hold of him. All right, buddy, you want to bring us into our Jerry of the Week here? Because it's about time. We've made it almost to the end without Jerrying out.
We've got a 2-time Jerry of the Week champion for you guys this week, folks. And holy shit, I would not know this if it wasn't for the Fat Mack bringing this up to me. But good God. Who's the Jerry of the Week again? It's not Roman Reigns.
Baron Corbin.
The dumpster fire himself, folks. Back in the runnings. This time, just getting shit on by the WWE itself. Holy fuck. I almost can't believe it, man. It's crazy.
It's pathetic, too. It's pathetic because it's such a stupid thing for WWE to even give a shit about.
It is. And what, of course, we're talking about is this replica plaque. Is that what you said it was?
It is a commemorative plaque.
There you go.
So which, by the way, is fucked up because it's a commemorative plaque for Baron Corbin's win of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Which obviously meant nothing to the WWE. So why are you making a plaque?
So whoever's buying this shit is already a fucking troll to begin with. You've been trolled, motherfucker. You've been trolled.
Baron Corbin, last time he was the Jerry of the Week, it was because he cashed in and failed. And now he's the Jerry of the Week because he even had the Money in the Bank briefcase. Because as you can see clearly here on my screen, the WWE has added a little extra hair to the top of his head, where he's not even balding that bad. It's insane. And right now you're looking at the commemorative plaque itself. But let me just show you, okay? Now, here is normal Baron Corbin as you see him on SmackDown or Raw on a normal basis.
He's a fairly decent, good-looking man.
He is. He's got. I always said he's got too much of a baby face to be taken seriously as a heel. He's kind of grown into that, but yeah, he's missing a little bit of hair up at the top. It's not a big deal, you know. They don't make him wear a wig to the ring. They don't make him comb it over or do anything with it.
They don't give him that little spray hair in a can, you know.
Now here is the picture that they edited for the shoot. Bam! Holy shit! It's not even a good Photoshop job.
But the color's off a little bit.
It looks blurry. It's like they smudged it to make it look better.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's very noticeable. I could see by afar and not being noticeable, but if you look at it, it's very noticeable.
Oh yeah, and we're very, very zoomed in here. You guys can see it in all of its glory. Everywhere else on his head, you can see fine details of hair strands grouping together wet on his head. And at the top, it just looks like some dry fuzz. Maybe they took a picture of Vince McMahon from 20 years ago and then just took the top off of his hair and photoshopped it over Baron Corbin.
You know what I think it was? I think it's Kevin Dunn's ball sack hair. I honestly think that's what it is.
And it's not Photoshop. They actually stuck it to Baron Corbin's head and make him retake a picture. This is his punishment, man. He's got heat backstage. This is, I swear to God, this has to be part of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I haven't heard of this happening before. I mean, look at arguably their biggest star ever. Or at least what was their biggest star at the time, which was Hulk Hogan. Now, I know Photoshop was not as fucking prevalent back then, but they airbrushed a lot of shit back in the 80s, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I promise you that. Hulk Hogan had a hell of a fucking receding hairline, and nobody ever fucking dabbled in fucking blonde strands on his top. The Macho Man had a receding hairline. Nobody fucking plucked his fucking shit. Nobody slapped a fucking wad of pubes on his head. Yeah, it's really...
You know, what I think is the worst thing about this is just this slight little transformation to his head, and he almost looks identical to Roman Reigns.
Maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they think he'll sell better if he looks like Reigns.
You need to be the Roman Reigns of SmackDown. Oh, it's terrible. And because of this, Baron Corbin, once again, you are our Jerry of the Week.
Jerry of the Week. First two-time
champion.
The man who had so much promise. And you had me sold on him. I fought it forever, and you finally had me sold on him. And all of a sudden, he just dropped. Because he did have promise. And he still could. But it's going to be an uphill battle from here on. Why? That's the biggest thing. Why is it that important on some stupid commemorative plaque to make him look like he had, and slightly more hair?
Right.
Like, they didn't give him a fro. They just filled in a few spots. Like, why was that important?
I have no idea. It's ridiculous.
It is super ridiculous.
And, you know, if we're going to talk about Jerry of the Week, I think the strong runner-up this week would probably have to go to the re-debut of Dolph Ziggler. How about that atrocity?
I loved it. We didn't even talk about that. I loved that. I'm not sure where they're going with this. It could go either way. It's Dolph Ziggler, so I'm sure it's going downhill.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think halfway through the thing should have been over, and then it kept going on. And he could have ended on a better note than Naomi. So
anybody who didn't watch, Dolph Ziggler came out. It was supposed to be the re-debut. He was debuting a new gimmick. He was coming out a changed man. And Dolph Ziggler came out to just Dolph Ziggler with his regular music. Nothing different.
It was kind of a different stage lighting, I believe.
Maybe. I don't even know. But then he was like, you know what? You guys don't respect my work. He's like, I know what we need to do. Cut the lights. And the lights went black, and he went back. And then you heard John Cena's music. And he comes out with the John Cena hat, and he comes out with a fucking a towel with the DZ on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to the camera, and he's like, here, buy my stuff. Here, buy my stuff. And he did the whole thing with a throwing the hat in the audience and shit. And he's like, wait, that's not what you want? Oh, I know. You want to go retro. So then he went in the back. And he came out, and he did the, was it Macho Man?
Yes, it was.
Yes, he did the Macho Man.
He had the girl, he had the robe.
He came out with Miss Elizabeth.
I thought it was a bad move because he didn't have the sunglasses or the hat, and he should have.
I know, right? That's why I thought it was Macho Man, and then just all of a sudden my memory banks were telling me, no, it wasn't Macho. He didn't have the hat and glasses. So, yeah, you're right.
Came out to the graduation music.
Woman. He did have the woman. He came out to Pomp and Circumstance and everything. He's like, no, that's not what you want nowadays. He went in the back, and then they played fucking
Naomi's music.
And he came out with the fake dreadlocks and the fucking black light and whooping everything around and shaking his ass and everything like that. And then he basically said what is true. It was a worked shoot, just like Roman and Cena. As much as everybody wants to believe that was a shoot, it's a worked shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a worked shoot, and he was like, you know what? I don't need any funny gimmicks or bullshit. He's like, what I do in the ring, nobody else can do, and he walked away, which is true. I don't know that it's gonna get him anywhere, but it's true.
Right.
His best quality is his in-ring work.
That's definitely true. He doesn't. I mean, he's good on the mic too. Don't get me wrong, but
he's decent. I mean, he's better than a lot of the other people. He's not. I wouldn't put him up there with the greats, but he's definitely better than a lot of folks. He's better than Reigns.
I do think it would be really cool to see him pull the title off of Jinder. I don't see it to happen though.
Hinder the Jinder. I think Nakamura's beaten Jinder. I think this is the second time's the charm. And then I think it's going to be Nakamura AJ at WrestleMania. I think those are the two big matches at WrestleMania. I think it's Reigns Brock Lesnar, and I think it's Nakamura AJ. And I think Reigns goes over, and I think AJ goes over. I mean, this is 6 months in advance booking, folks. I can be wrong. I'm just
right on a lot of levels. It
now.
Could be a completely different card than what we're predicting right now.
Of course,
especially with the way they've been changing shit lately.
They've thrown a lot of fucking curveballs at us that we never expected. Nobody expected Jinder to be here this long. I swear every title match, is Jinder's last match.
Right. I think that's the point. I think that's the whole, like, the gimmick of his character is everybody doesn't expect it to last, and he's probably going to be one of the longest reigning WWE champions because of that. How many days is the record anyway?
We'd have to look it up, and then you get into semantics, whether you're talking about the current one or the one that goes back to the 80s, or you're talking the one that goes back to the WWF. Or,
just, I would say the WWE Championship, not the F, the E.
Okay. Because WWF, I believe, is Bruno Sammartino, and I want to say that's at 500 some odd days. WWE, I don't even have a guess. Oh, CM Punk, wasn't it?
Yes. Wait, hang on.
I don't even have a guess.
Yes, it is.
CM Punk.
It is CM Punk.
CM Punk, yeah. What was his, 380 something?
I'm getting there. Loading a little slow.
420 something? 380 or 420, something like that. It was over a year, I remember that.
Yeah.
Watch it be 340 or something.
434.
Like, 434. There you go. 420 something. That was close. Okay. Yeah, CM Punk would be the one. So he's got a long way to go to beat that. He would have to literally go through a WrestleMania, and I don't see him going to a WrestleMania as champ, let alone winning as champ. But it could happen.
Right.
I don't see it happening, but it could.
Yeah, no, it's shit can change. I'm excited to see what is in store for WrestleMania, especially after everything that's going down, in the next two pay-per-views.
Well, I think the last two WrestleManias surprised me, and they were better than I thought they were going to be. I'm sitting here trying to remember what the last two were. And I don't remember at all. But I think they were better. I know the main events weren't that great. At least last year's main events weren't that great. Undertaker Reigns, of course, you had. Would you have Triple H Rollins last year?
Yeah, yep.
That was a good match.
And Brock Lesnar and fucking Goldberg, man. Goldberg was last year.
Oh, yeah, which was a horrible match.
It was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uneventful build-up.
I mean, I guess it was an okay match, but it was definitely nowhere near what it should have been. Yeah. And the Reigns Undertaker match wasn't near as good as it should have been, and sadly, a lot of that was on Taker. Who, by the way, rumors are that Taker is getting himself ready for another match.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And, I believe he would have appeared at SummerSlam had pictures of him on a flight to New York not surfaced on the internet as he was on his way there.
Right. He's been mentioned a lot on WWE TV. In fact, John Cena mentioned it when he did that work shoot promo on Reigns. You know, he said Reigns was like, I did something you've never done, and that's retire the Undertaker or beat the Undertaker or whatever. And
right.
Cena said, yeah, well, I'm not an old withered veteran with a bad hip. So in all the WrestleMania matches I've predicted so far, none of them involve John Cena. Could we get the dream match of John Cena versus Undertaker this WrestleMania?
That would be really good, especially if this heat with Roman Reigns keeps building up. So Cena feels like he has to. Maybe Reigns beats Cena, and Cena feels like he has to beat Undertaker to make up for that.
Right. I think it would be sad. Number one, it's going to be sad to see Taker wrestle anymore anyways, because his last 3 Manias have been pretty... not 3. Two Manias ago was okay. Last Mania was bad. The Mania before that, he got the concussion, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
But it's just horrible.
I do envision, if they do it, I do envision it being a whole lot like Ric Flair's retirement match with Shawn Michaels.
Well, I feel like it definitely... I feel like we as fans deserve Cena versus Undertaker, because at WrestleMania, not just like Monday Night Raw, Cena versus Undertaker, but at WrestleMania, because it's 2 of the biggest of their era. Yeah,
and that kind of passing the torch hasn't happened yet, and it's kind of unfair that Roman Reigns... I get it.
Well, I think it's past passing the torch. I think he definitely passed the torch to Roman Reigns. I think that's done.
Yeah.
Because you can't pass the torch to Cena. He's ready to pass the torch.
He hasn't received the torch to pass.
But I think Rock passed the torch to Cena.
Yeah.
If he got that wrong. And Cena should pass the torch. I guess Cena passed it to Brock, which they came out at the same time, so I don't know what that means.
Stone Cold should pass the torch to Kevin Owens. I want that at WrestleMania.
Get Stone Cold back, man. That's a money match. I just want to see Owens have a match at WrestleMania. He deserves a fucking marquee match. I would love to see a Owens Triple H match. Book that.
That'd be kind of cheesy, because they just did.
Samoa Joe?
They just did Triple H built up Seth Rollins, and then Rollins turned his back, and they fought at WrestleMania. So for them to do that with Kevin Owens, it would be less build up for one, and I don't know, it would be cheesy.
Owens Joe would be good.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, I would love to see. I'm sick of seeing the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn bullshit. But if they could start building it up and not fucking have them in a match together until WrestleMania, I would love it.
There's potential. Kirsten just predicted that she thinks Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to become friends again soon. And if they do, well, there's grounds to build it up.
Yeah, because that would be where Owens has said the two people he would love to have a WrestleMania match against. Well, not working, he said Shawn Michaels. But working would be Sami Zayn or Finn Balor, which are his two best friends. And I'd watch either one.
I would like to see Finn Balor. Kevin Owens, Finn Balor could be a main event. I don't think Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens would be much more than an opening match or a pre-show match with where Sami Zayn is currently.
See, I think if you're looking at it from a fanboy perspective, it's easily a main event. Mm-hmm. If you're looking at it from an average fan perspective, it's not a main event. I agree with you.
Did they do an NXT TakeOver Brooklyn match?
They did an NXT TakeOver match. I'm not sure if it was Brooklyn or not. But Owens beat Zayn for the title at TakeOver. Not sure which TakeOver that was. They kind of blur together now.
It was NXT TakeOver Rival, back when they were still trying to add extra titles onto the titles.
That would make sense. Rival, obviously. But folks listening at home, folks watching on YouTube, folks who are standing in my window looking at me creepily.
Potentially masturbating.
Oh. Any of you folks, you want to see a good fucking Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match, look up El Generico versus Kevin Steen Ring of Honor. They had a series of fucking grudge matches, especially on Kevin Steen's going home tour, like when he was leaving Ring of Honor. Because they used to be a tag team together, El Generico, Kevin Steen, and then they broke up, and they had some of the most ruthless fucking best matches in Ring of Honor history, in pro wrestling history. They have not had a match. Neither one of them have had a match as good as any of those matches. So go and look that up on YouTube, folks. Kevin Steen versus El Generico, Ring of Honor. El Generico, by the way, is the man who trained Sami Zayn. He's a luchador.
He has since retired to
Tijuana.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Bloop,
So.
bloop, 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 bloop.
So look that shit up. It's good stuff. We got 9 minutes left, Loke.
What are we gonna do for 9 minutes, folks?
What are we gonna do? Damn it!
Man, we are marching ever closer to the Juggalo March on Washington. It's going to be great. ICP just today released the brochure and the do's and don'ts for Juggalos attending the march.
Don't wear a Hitler stash or swastika.
We ask that the Juggalo family act with respect and honor throughout the march. To do otherwise would defeat our whole purpose. Signs, flags, and banners are allowed on sticks and poles no higher than 10 feet. Signs should not provoke violence or threats.
Oh, man. Anybody who was a fan of ICP in 92 just thinks this shit is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. It is. Music broadcasted on small devices is allowed, but only small devices. Please do not interfere with other events happening at the National Mall. Please don't fight the Trump supporters at the National Mall. That should have been at the top of the list.
Right?
Please don't litter. No wanderers. No weapons or anything that could be misconstrued as a weapon. Probably hatchets is what they're talking about.
Or, a stick holding a sign.
Right. This is where they're going to lose half of the people attending the march. No alcohol, marijuana, or drugs.
Right.
No fireworks.
So you've just lost fucking 97% of the juggalos right there.
Right. Oh, get this one. No fireworks, glass bottles, or balloons.
Ha! No balloons! How is fireworks and fucking glass bottles lumped in with balloons? Dude, do they have in there no magnets?
I think that's actually in the list of what to bring. No vehicles of any kind, including bicycles. I assume that it also includes unicycles. Animals on leashes are allowed, so owners, chain up your juggalos. It's good stuff. It's gonna be kind of a boring march. Maybe. I don't know. I won't be there to see it, but I'll be watching it on YouTube.
Yeah. God, I was just going to mention something I thought was important and I forgot about it now. I might think of it during Patreon. I'm not sure. Now it's super quiet. I was just looking at something and I was like, hey, I forgot to mention that. And then I didn't mention that. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, there was a lot that happened on Raw and SmackDown this week that I'm sure we didn't get a chance to touch on.
Yeah, I don't know if that was it or what it is. Something reminded me of something that I should have talked about earlier, and then I forgot about it while we were making fun of the damn jig-jag juggalos.
I'm not necessarily making fun of them.
Who kicked Willie Bubba's ass? I did. Did you do it right here in the class?
Show did. We all were juggalos once.
Yeah.
Back when we were babies. I still keep
and they are, and you know what? I'm an advocate. Despite what anybody says, I'm an advocate for ICP for the WWE Hall of Fame. I know so many people have such hard fucking criticisms about them as wrestlers or whatever, but as far as the wrestling industry, they have made a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact their WCW and WWF runs were not fucking great. And they weren't.
To the point where they've been censored from the WWE network. Which bothers me. Because, like, I went out of my way to look it up just because I like the Oddities theme song.
But see, I don't think it's WWE. I think it's ICP wanting rights is what it was. Oh,
yeah, royalties.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't WWE. I'm pretty sure it was ICP that did that. So that's them pulling a Metallica bullshit. So fuck you. But number one, they started off as pro wrestlers before they even started rapping. A lot of folks don't know that, but that's true. So right there you have that. They have it in, I mean, they're passionate for the business, whether they're good at it or not. They were in high profile stories in both WCW and WWE. And they started their own pro wrestling organization that is still going on today.
Yeah.
So I don't see how they don't qualify. I mean, so first of all, the WWE Hall of Fame has no qualifications.
Right.
You look at who's in there and it's just whatever they want. So number one, there's no qualifications. You and I could be in there this year and nobody would bat an eye. But I feel like if there even are qualifications, that ICP meets those qualifications. I feel that.
And I mean, if Trump is in the Hall of Fame, why not put the clowns in?
Why not put the clowns in?
Send in the clowns. Boop, 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 boop. Trying to look up some more fun information. Oh, by the way, according to the FAQs, you do not have to be a juggalo to participate in the Juggalo March. Are you gonna go?
No, I'm not going. I'm not marching.
No. There you have it, folks. He didn't stand with Standing Rock. He won't march with the Juggalos.
Hey, I made the fundraiser for Standing Rock. I was part of a whole fucking 8 people that fucking showed up and paid. It's nice to see how many people on fucking Facebook that post shit are willing to put their money up for it.
Oh yeah, well no,
I was fucking there.
As soon as there's some kind of a commitment, you lose most of the people's attention.
Oh shit, yeah. As sad as that is, it's true.
As long as it's a fad, you're fucking golden.
No, I guess I'm still sitting here trying to remember because I thought I was like, oh yeah, that's something I should say before we leave, and I can't remember it. So I don't know. We're almost out of time, Loke.
We are.
So let's give a send off to our folks here. You can catch us on Patreon.
Wait a tick.
We'll still be loving y'all like we always love you.
As we end the show tonight, I do believe I'm going to play for the people watching on the YouTubes the song that I think is going to separate all the breaks at Holoblaze.
Uh-oh.
I have stumbled across the greatest thing in the world, and it is the 10-hour version of Human Music on YouTube.
Human Music.
How great would that be to be every break? It's the only song you hear. It would be excellent.
That would be awesome. Human Music.
It's cool too because it's kind of remixed. It's got some drum and bass to it. But
you know what? They got some really good remixes from all of the fucking Rick and Morty songs.
Oh yeah, I think it's funny because I feel like every week it's a different person who puts it up too.
Right.
I like it.
You got it ready for your YouTube?
Oh, it's playing. It's playing as we talk.
All right. Well, with that being said, it's time for us to sign off. We're at 2 hours plus. 2 hours and 1 minute. Holy shit.
I like it.
Anyways, Beef Sticks Podcast live. I'm Fat Mack.
I'm Paystee Whyt. And we'll be right back right here next Thursday.
To see you there. We love you like a lovesick puppy.
I like it.
All right, folks. Until next time, my name is Paystee Whyt.
And I'm Fat Mack.
Thank you for your time. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, the Holy Trinity, and don't forget to click that little bell and become part of our Notifiqueef squad.
Oh.
Wow.
Queefs. Be part of our Mater Queefs.
All right, guys. We gone.